I am so excited for August. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Paris and today we are doing my August TBR. I'm really excited to get into this month because this month I have a decent amount of fantasy and a decent amount of romance. So again, we're going in with the fantasy and the romance. I made this whole list throughout the month. Whatever I was feeling throughout the month that I'm like, okay, I need to get into this next. I need to get into this next. I wrote it down and I made sure to include a lot of the books that are on my physical TBR because I am on a book buying ban until September. So I wanted to make sure I got a lot of my physical TBR out of the way. Also, I didn't even point out, I finally have a bookshelf. I haven't had a bookshelf since I was a teenager. Let me grab the books that I want to read this month and we'll get right into it. So I have the physical books here and then I have a lot of books that are also from my Kindle and a few of them are actually on Kindle Unlimited as well, which I'm really excited about. We're gonna start with the romance. The first book is actually a book I picked up at the library and that is The Bodyguard by Katherine. I've never read anything by Katherine, but I know that she just came out with a new book recently called Hello Stranger. Everyone has talked about The Bodyguard. I've seen a lot of people talking about it recently as well. It is a bodyguard trope if the title didn't give that away. So I believe this one, the bodyguard, is actually a female. Yes, she just got hired to protect superstar actor Jack Stapleton from his middle-aged corgi breeding stalker. I have not read a bodyguard trope since I read Twisted Games, and I did enjoy Twisted Games even though I didn't enjoy the rest of that series. I love to throw in some rom-coms in the middle of my fantasy reads. I find rom-coms almost like a palate cleanser, if you will. I don't want to talk about this one too much because this has been on my TBR for many months. I think many months in a row now. This book has been on my TBR. I think I'm gonna have to go into this book next so that I actually read it, but I have Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. If you have not heard about this book, this is a second chance romance about a couple who were once married and now they're separated and they're kind of questioning if they made a mistake or not. The next three books that I have on my list are all on my Kindle. Two of them are Kindle Unlimited books. So first I have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This one is about the best friend of the main female character in the same universe as Part of Your World. I don't know too much about this book. I think I've mentioned many times I like to go into my books very blindly, so I don't know too many details, but I do know that they work together. They're both doctors. This is giving Grey's Anatomy vibes and I loved Grey's Anatomy the first like 15 seasons. Next I have Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I read the first two books in the Dreamland Billionaire series. Now I'm ready to get into Final Offer. It is a second chance. Need I say more? I do wonder if this one kind of wraps up all of the characters from the first two books story as well, because I noticed that in the first two books we didn't really get like a wrap up on the situation with their inheritance. Cal is a third brother and I believe the grandfather said that he had to connect with someone from his past, a specific person. That one is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm gonna read it on there. And that leads me into my next book, which is also on Kindle Unlimited, and that is Powerless by Elsie Silver. Please hear me out. I think at the beginning of this year I read Heartless by Elsie Silver, which is the second book in this Chestnut Spring series, and they are all once again interconnected standalones. It just felt not for me. That's the best way to put it. I just wonder if maybe it was just that book specifically that wasn't for me, so I kind of want to try another one. I'm on the fence on if I should just go back and read Flawless or if I should just go right into Powerless, because I've heard really good things about Powerless from a lot of people who share similar interests as me. I kind of want to give this series a chance, see if it can redeem itself for me and my preferences. Now we are on to the dystopian and fantasy books. Once Upon a Broken Heart is finally like officially on my TBR where I am going to read it. I was supposed to read it in June, but then I ended up reading the Caraval trilogy and I was like, okay, let me just finish this trilogy. I said I wasn't going to and I decided to just finish it, and now I'm ready to finally read Once Upon a Broken Heart. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous to get into it because every single person that I watch or follow when it comes to the book world has rated this book 5 stars. So I'm like, what is in this book? I need to find out what's in this book. I finished the entire Caraval trilogy and now I know about Jax, the main male character. So I'm excited because it talks about the Prince of Hearts on the back and I didn't really know who that was until I read Caraval. Now that I know his backstory and some things about him, I'm excited to see more about him because I do think he had like a very charming edge. There's a huge chance that I might get into the Ballad of Never After as well. If I love that one enough, this one will be read this month as well. This is the second book in the series. I believe it's a trilogy, but this is the second one, and the third one comes out in September. Next, I have The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. As you guys know, I am officially done the ACOTAR series, at least what is out right now, and I don't know what to do with myself, but I do know that all of these series in some way come together. I've been trying so hard to avoid spoilers, and I need to get to Crescent City, but I've heard that it's best to read the Throne of Glass series first, so that's what I'm gonna do. I am just going to start with Assassin's Blade because the Assassin's Blade is, I believe, like 4 or 5 novellas that all actually originally came out before Throne of Glass. So I'm gonna read this first because I believe this is what Sarah J Maas intended. I literally have zero knowledge on what this series is about. I don't know a thing. I know that the main character is an assassin in some sort of way, but that is literally it. I don't know anything. Next, I have Shatter by Tahereh Mafi. This is a YA dystopian. The main thing that I know is our main character, Juliet. Her touch is fatal. It says no one knows why Juliet's touch is fatal, but the reestablishment has plans for her. Plans to use her as a weapon, but Juliet has plans of her own. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovering a strength to fight back for the very first time and to find a future with the one boy she thought she'd lost forever. These are all the books that are in this series, and I think some of these are novellas. I am not entirely sure if I'm ready to jump into a dystopian. I feel like if I read this is either going to be like somewhere in the middle or end of the month. It's not high up on my list, like I need to read this as soon as August starts, but this is a book that I really do want to pick up because it's part of a series. Even if I just read this one book and then kind of take my time getting into the series, that is totally fine with me. Next, I have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is actually part of an ongoing series. At least there is another one that is projected to come out at the end of this year. I didn't know that. This is one of those books that is really starting to become popular right now. It came out in April and a lot of people are loving it. This is like during like some type of war, and there are 2 journalists that end up connecting. Iris, our main female character, is writing letters to her brother who is missing. She is writing these letters like not really expecting a response, and she does get a response, but these responses come from Roman, who is basically her rival at the paper, but she has no idea that it's him. I want to know the hype. I feel like sometimes when I wait too long, I feel so left out. And that leads me into my very last one, which is Fourth Wing. This is by Rebecca Yarros. Everyone and their mother has already finished Fourth Wing. I do not have a physical copy of Fourth Wing. Here's the thing. Obviously, we all know Fourth Wing was sold out for months, and now finally the bookstore has restocked them as soon as I'm on my book buying ban. I'm just going to wait and hope something happens where I can get my hands on this book. My plan is to just read it on my Kindle for the time being. Part of me is just scared to read this book because everyone is saying how good this book is. I think majority of people watching this probably already know what it's about or have read it already. I'm pretty sure it's a fantasy about dragon riding school. That's all I know. So those are all the books that I want to read this month. I'm just ready to start picking up a new series and get immersed in a new one. I just keep staring at the books and smiling at them, but I need to close out this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next video.